welcome to another episode of the AI Show live. This is all happening live, my friends. How you doing? We are in the throes of summer. How exciting is that? Where's everybody coming from? Side of the eye. Side of the eye. I'll check out the chat. Side of the eye. Where's everybody coming to us from? By the way, we have a YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. Welcome. We also stream to LinkedIn and Twitch because we are no respecter of platforms. We just want everyone to come. All right, where's everybody coming from? I'll put it in the chat. When I talk, it's about 30 seconds before I see whatever it is you say. Whilst we do that, let me tell you a little bit about what we're doing today. Bring up my screen here. Here we go. All right. Today, end-to-end observability with my friend Sebastian. Gosh, I'm so bad at writing. Holy cow. Let me like Sebastian's here. He's probably watching me write this down and he's just like, what is he doing? What is he doing? I'm going to write it nicely. Sebastian. Oh, jeez. I couldn't even do it at the end. With Sebastian. We'll do that. It's great. We did something last week. We recorded something last week. So it's all new stuff. All new stuff. Well, it's not new. You could go do it, but I mean. And then at the top of the hour, Mark Biza. He's gonna come on. One of my good friends from DevRel, Developer Relations. He's talk about some cool stuff with MCP. So I'm excited for that. I don't know how I feel about MCP. I think it's cool that folks that we have a thing. I don't know, maybe in betwixt, in the gaps. Yes, in these little gaps, in betwixt everything. Gosh, in these gaps here, we'll do some stuff I'm working over the weekend. Over the weekend. Hint, I've been working. I have a framework called Prompty, which is really nice. I've been needing to upgrade some stuff, and so I did a lot of work to make sure that it works. So in betwixt all of that stuff, I'll make sure to get some of that in there so you can see it. But again, if you're here, just tell us hello. We'll watch the chat. The most important thing for this live show is actually your questions. We wouldn't do a live show unless you had questions. And so we're going to make sure to have Sebastian here. He's actually here. Sebastian, are you ready? Give me a thumbs up. Thumbs up. Okay, I got the thumbs up. Let me. Oh, man, he's ready. Let me remove my screen here for a second. And let's get Sebastian up here. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Seth. Love your handwriting.
Oh my gosh, it's so bad. I mean, are you watching this thing and this dude? How does he have a job? It's because we type.
Yeah, exactly.
It's because we type. So how you doing, Sebastian?
Good. Really excited to be here.
I know. I tell everyone that it's observability that makes this stuff actually good.
That's right. You don't know what your agent's doing without observability.
I know, and the thing about and by the way, some of the colleagues you work with, like Minsu and Mernouche, they come on. They've been on a couple times. Like I tell them every time, like this stuff is no good if we can't test it.
That's right. Yes.
So we did a recording just the other day. I'm gonna get it ready and I'll play it. And then, would you mind sticking around for questions afterwards? I might have a lot of questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it.
All right. So let me get this going here right now. You're not going on this episode of the AI Show where we talk all about achieving end-to-end observability in Azure AI Foundry with my friend Sebastian. Make sure you tune in. Hello, welcome to this episode of the AI Show. We're talking all about achieving end-to-end observability in Azure AI Foundry with my friend Sebastian. Sebastian, how you doing, my friend?
Doing great. Excited to be here.
Fantastic. So tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm Sebastian. I work on Foundry Observability and looking forward to share all of the exciting capabilities that we have made available in the Foundry.
Yeah, and one of the things about AI, particularly with agents, is they feel a little fuzzy. And as devs, I kind of want to know what's happening and how I can make things better. Do you have something to show us to get this going?
Yeah, that's what observability is all about. Observability gives you a view into what's happening with your agent or with your AI application. I'll walk you through that end to end in a second.
All right, let's do it.
Awesome. All right. So what you see here is the model catalog. So the first place to get started with observability is our model leaderboard. And here, what I can do is I can select the best model for my agent or my AI application. I'll just quickly show what this looks like. I can browse the leaderboard. I can look across a bunch of different dimensions, including quality, safety, and cost. In this case, I like what I'm seeing with 404 Mini. So I think I'm going to proceed with 04 Mini, which I've already deployed. Yeah, I've already chosen my model. I'm going to go ahead and start creating my agent. In this case, I've already created the agent in the interest of time. What this agent does is it answers question about Contoso Outdoors, which is an outdoor equipment company. I've connected our product catalog as a knowledge in the sample store. So in this case, all of the files contain all of the product details for the products that we sell. I have selected my 4.0 mini deployment. I've given the agent some instructions, and we're ready to get started. So what I want to do here is showcase how I can use observability out of the box to get going to understand the performance, the quality and safety of my agents. I'm going to select all of the metrics that we make available. So we have a set of quality and safety metrics, and I'm going to test out the agent. So I want the agent to tell me about the tents that Contoso Outdoors sells because I just went camping.
And this is cool because this is going to take a second. I had no idea that those features were there. Can you go to that drop down again and maybe
Sure.
tell us,
Yeah.
give us a couple of beats on what each of these things may mean?
Yeah. So the first two, task adherence, intent resolution, these essentially measure the quality of the agent. How well is the agent doing following the task that it's been given, and how well is it doing at resolving the intent of the user question. And then the other three about the general quality of the response. So there's how coherent is the response, how fluent is it, and how relevant is it. So about tone and content effectively. And then the risk and safety metrics, these provide essentially protection and give you the ability to measure whether or not the agent is doing anything that it's not supposed to be doing. So it gives you really good insights. Now that this has run, so I see the agent responded. It gave me a couple of tents in the product catalog. These look great. At the bottom, what I can see some metrics, but I can also see the output scores for AI quality and risk. Good news is there's no safety risk, which is awesome to see.
Nice.
And then in terms of quality, this is also looking great because these products are in our catalog. I can drill in a little bit more by clicking on thread logs. And here I can see the input and output for this run, and I can see the evaluation and the associated explanations. The explanations are really powerful because they tell you why the score was picked. So if you want to root cause and understand what's going on, this is your place to go.
This is really cool. And by the way, before you close that,
Yeah.
are these like judge based evals, or because how does it know to score it this way?
Yeah, these are judge-based evals, and the judge is giving you an explanation, which is part of what makes this so powerful. So if you can see here that, hey, it did, overall it did a great job because the the information was available to the agent. The response was logical. So this this gives me the peace of mind that I need to be able to move forward.
That's cool.
Awesome. Okay, so now we're going to take it to the next level. So we're going to
Right.
move forward by adding another knowledge source. So I've created a new candidate, and I want to compare this new candidate to the original agent that we built. As I proceed, with rolling this out, the new candidate has a small update. It includes Bing grounding. So one thing that we're going to do is we're also going to bring in customer reviews from the web so that we have richer product information that we return to our customers when they're curious to learn more about our products. So again, I'm going to try this out. I'm just going to pre-select all of the evaluators. And this time I'm going to ask the agent to tell me about your kayaks because that's another activity that I really enjoy doing in the summer.
That's delightful. And so now what it's doing is it's going to use. Oh, okay. There's the answer. It's pretty quick. Holy cow.
Yeah, and there's no information about kayaks in the catalog, which makes sense because Contoso Outdoors doesn't sell any kayaks. So in this case, I only selected the two values, which is fine. So task adherence, intent resolution. For this example, these will give us enough information. And one interesting thing that's seen in the explanation is that the agent responded accordingly. There are no kayaks in the catalog, but the agent didn't do a good job sort of addressing the user's questions. So I think this is could have suggested some alternatives or could have provided some other helpful information. So this is useful for me. I can go and figure out how I can improve my agent from here. But this doesn't work at scale, right? I've completed one run. So how do I proceed evaluating my agent at scale? So this is where being able to run evaluations as part of your CI/CD workflows come in. So I have this new version ready, but now I'm going to move to GitHub and show you how I can run evaluation in a larger test data set. Before I do that, I need to create a test data set though. So the way that I can do this is I've created an agent that creates a test data set for me. I have some instructions. I put in the JSON format that it needs to be in, and I'm going to ask the agent to create a test data set with 50 user queries about the attached product catalog. Please include products that are not listed. Please include similar products that are not included in the catalog. So we'd like to get some diversity here. So that's what I'm going to do. We also provide a simulator. So if you look at our documentation, you can use a simulator as well. But this is a kind of a fun way to create an agent to do something that would be quite a bit of effort. So now I have my test data set, and I can copy this over pretty easily as I transition to working in code.
How cool is this? Because I was like, oh wow, we want to test this across. Well, we're gonna have to have some user testing to do this, but you're just like, hey, if you're just getting started, why not also generate a test data set to start, and then later on, when this thing is production, you can start to see actual stuff coming in as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, that's right. So this is this is pretty awesome. This is a great way to get going and save you some time. Okay, so I'm going to take this. I'm going to copy this over, and I'm going to show you what we do next. So I've deployed the agent. It's in production. Now I want to compare the new one to the old one or to the original one. The way that I can do this is by running a GitHub action. So we have a GitHub action that we publish to the GitHub marketplace that you can use to run evaluation as part of your CI workflow. So the way this works is if you commit a change or if you have any other sort of rule set up, you can automatically run an evaluation on the test data set to see how a new version of an agent compares to another version of the agent. The way this is configured is I'll just quickly pull up the workflow file. Is this test data set that I showed that I generated earlier is going to be saved in this data path, and then I need to add the agent IDs that I'm comparing here. These are, this is the current version, this is the new version, and from here I'm good to go. So what I do next is I click on Run Workflow. This is going to take a while, so I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to pull up an example of an existing run, and this is what it looks like. We show you V1, V2 with Bing Search, and then we give you all of the evaluation scores. And you can see here, task adherence is a lot worse with Bing Search for some reason. So I need to drill into this, and this could be because we're bringing in another knowledge source, and it's something that we need to. There's some issues that we need to address in the system prompt to improve this. I can also click in here to view the results in the Azure AI Foundry. So this is a really nice way to continuously, repeatedly run an evaluation whenever you're making a change.
This is cool. Can we go back to the YAML workflow file?
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
So if we scroll down, there's those agent IDs. How many can you put in there, and where do those agent IDs come from?
You can compare as many as you want.
Oh.
Obviously it's going to take a lot longer
Yeah,
if you have a lot of agent IDs. The agent IDs themselves, they come from here. So this is going to be your agent ID. Yes.
So it's literally like if you want to set this up, you can have an agent make a data set. You can have put that data set into your checked in files, which is nice because then it's part of your repo, right? And then in your workflow, you just put the agent IDs you want to test and compare against one another. And you may have multiple workflows depending on the particular product area, because you might have agents for each product area. You're able to run all of those on a timer, on a trigger, on a whatever, because it's now just GitHub Actions. Is that
exactly?
Am I getting this right?
Yes.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, so this scales really well. So this gives you the the safety or sort of the the validation that you need so that you can confidently deploy. But then once you go to production, we also provide monitoring capability in the Azure AI Foundry. So the other thing that can happen over time is you could see drift in your evaluation metrics, or you also want to monitor sort of general operational metrics, including token usage, latency, error rate, etc. So this dashboard that we have in the Azure AI Foundry enables you to do just that. We have operational metrics at the top. We have evaluation metrics available. These are the same evaluators that I showed earlier, and you can run these at, for example, 10 per hour at a sampled rate of production traffic, and these will continuously monitor your agent in production. So this is a really, really nice way to keep track of how the system is performing once it's been deployed. And then we give you a bunch of graphs where you can kind of drill in and see trends over time as well, and see, okay, all of my quality metrics were doing fairly well here, but then there was a drop for a few hours, and they seem to have recovered. So that gives you an indicator of what's going on. The other thing that I'll show is we have resource usage available. And one thing that we just added recently is this Azure Cost Management link. So in addition to just seeing the token count, I can also click into the Azure portal and see how much it costs me to run the agent. So this is a new feature that we just added.
Well, this is absolutely delightful. A quick question, and then maybe you don't have to show it, but is there a way to like have my own evaluators as well, or is there more evaluation ability other than the ones you just showed?
Yeah, so we just have the built-in evaluators for now. We are planning on adding more. We're planning on adding custom evaluators as well. You can run custom evaluators in your in the ad hoc evaluation,
Okay.
but that's not available everywhere yet.
I mean, all I know is like, because if you can go to evaluation, I think there's a little there's a list of all the evaluators that are available. If you go to evaluator library at the top, because I remember seeing more than just those 5.
Yeah, there are more, but not all of them are available for monitoring.
Got it.
Yeah, it's something
Okay.
that we're working on. Yeah.
But you know what? The fact that I can actually make this happen in my code, in my repo, is absolutely amazing. This is really cool stuff, my friend. Where can people go to find out more?
Yeah, we have a blog post. We have documentation. There's a lot of info out there, and we're excited to have everybody use this. Observability is key. You need observability. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I was doing I did a demo recently where I showed that like task adherence was bad, and like the guy that was with me I was doing was like, hey, we need to look at this number, and the fact that we can have an objective number to look at to know if these things are working or not is absolutely amazing to me. So thank you for all of your work, my friend.
Absolutely.
Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts are your agents are non-deterministic. There's only so much that you can do, and with observability, you can be confident and make sure that your agent is performing as expected. So I encourage everybody to try it out.
I'm a huge fan. I've been telling everyone, in our team and also else, like it's absolutely important to make sure that you are using observability tools to make sure these things are doing the right thing. So thank you for your work, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And thank you so much for watching and learning about how to achieve end-to-end observability in Azure Foundry with my friend Sebastian. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Take care. All right, that was cool, Sebastian. How cool was that?
I loved it. This was fun.
I know. So, all right. So, people are asking questions. They usually, I just saw, like, it tells me on my watch, but it takes about 30 seconds. So, as people are watching this, they're probably thinking, "Oh, I should really do some evaluations." Do you have any like general best practices that you can think of that maybe like, hey, you should really think about this when you're doing it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you need 2 pieces that are key for observability. One is the evaluators, and then these need to be relevant based on the context. So depending on what you're building, you make sure you're choosing the right evaluators. And then the other piece is tracing. Tracing gives you insights into the full workflow execution of the agent. And the cool part of one thing that we do in the Foundry is we actually bring the 2 together. We bring evaluation results and traces together so that you can, if you're debugging, easily find low performing traces where something went wrong. So that those 2 elements are super critical.
So you get some evaluations that are important to you. You can like I think you can even make your own if I remember right.
Yes.
And then once you've picked them, then make sure that when you're going through execution flows at the tracing, you can evaluate what's going on in there as well.
Yeah, and the the evaluator doesn't always have to be an LLM as a judge evaluator. You can also create a code-based evaluator that does something much simpler and measures the quality of an agent deterministically. So you could, for example, measure the success rate, API call success rate, or you look at error rate, that type of thing.
I see. So because the way that I think of these things is the LLM recommends code paths,
right?
When you're doing agentic style stuff, you're saying you could also test the bridge between those code paths to see if it, and that's a deterministic thing. Like once it decides to call it, is it doing it? Is the code calling it correctly, kind of thing? And that's not a stochastic process.
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. What are customers or what are people doing what are some cool things that you've seen that you can share that people are doing with this that makes these things more reliable? Do you have anything like that top of mind?
Yeah, I think there are several other things. In addition to just running the ad hoc evaluation, you're running evaluation in your CI/CD workflows. So if you have an agent in production, you've set up some rules to be able to run an evaluation every time a change is committed to part of your code that could impact how your agent is performing. That's a really great way to ensure that you're measuring the quality and the safety of your agent. And then in production, you can do two things. One is you can run evaluation continuously, so that you're tracking, how is the agent performing in the wild in production, not on the test data set.
Right.
But then you can also run evaluation on the test data set, maybe daily, to detect drift, so that you have a constant, the same set of your test queries that you're testing maybe daily, and use that to keep track of how your agent's performing.
Yeah, and that's cool. And then Janice was saying end to end secure. Also, like they're like I think one of the things that I don't like about this space is how black boxy it's
Right.
become.
Yes.
And the fact that you and our colleagues are building tools that's like, hey, let's unbox this and then use it, because I love the idea also. And tell me if people are doing this, of like people can thumbs up or thumbs down a response of an agent, and
Yes.
that could also be fed into the evaluative process post hoc. I mean, is that thoughts on that?
Yeah, you can bring in any sort of any sort of metric you want, right? You can instrument anything in your application and track it and assess how your agent is performing. So that includes thumbs up, thumbs down. But you could imagine card ads if you have an e-commerce website. Anything that
Oh my
that
gosh,
that might be
yes.
important for you to track, right?
Oh my gosh. So like, for example, like the agent might be like recommending you should do this. And then
Right.
when you in your UI, you display it as a thing. You could have the click-through rate of
Yeah.
that thing, and that could be a deterministic. Did I do the right thing for the user?
Yes.
And that's not like, there's no question. There's no judge. It's just like, did they click it or did they not? And that could also be an eval that goes through the pipeline. That's really clever.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, Sebastian, this is the best. Like, the thing about this is, like, I tell everyone, including like you and others, like the only thing that matters isn't that you're using AI. It's that you're using AI in a way that benefits your customers. And this is the only way to measure it, as far as I can tell.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you need observability to measure the impact. To understand, also understand the ROI, right? If you're integrating AI into your product or into your application, you want to see what kind of ROI is it driving. So that's another benefit as well.
Well, I'm excited. Like I've committed this semester. I call them semesters, at least every 6 months. To build tools to help me and my colleagues do our PM work. And this to me is the most important part. Like, is it actually helping do our PM work? So thank you so much for spending some time with us, bud.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun.
All right, you're the best. Sebastian, we'll have to have you on, or whoever you recommend, because like I think this is I want to focus on this over the next couple of months.
Sounds great.
All right, dude, you're the best. How about Sebastian? Huh? That's some good. I'm gonna turn some music on. It's just a little barren in here. Yeah, I mean, to me, this is the most important bit of this stuff. Can we test it, and can we make it good? Yeah, I'm excited about this. I'm gonna try to find ways to make this a little more, even more accessible. That's my job. I work on developer experience on Foundry, so FYI, that's what I do. They just recalibrated me. Okay, we got about a little bit of time. If you have questions, please feel free to put them in. I can tinker around with Foundry too and show you observability stuff. But coming up next, we have my friend Mark Biza. He's from DevRel. He's here for some cool announcey kinds of things. And I want to make sure that he can come on. All right, Mark, are you ready? Give me a thumbs up. Thumbs up. All right. Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Hey Seth, how you doing?
Man, it's been a while. How's life treating you, bud?
Life's been good. A lot of AI, a lot of things popping up, especially with this new thing called MCP. And I know
Yes.
me and you have chatted a little bit about it, and so
Yeah. I think MCP's like to me, there's like a technical argument for things, and
Yeah.
then there's like a usage argument for things. And in terms of usage and uptake, MCP has really taken off.
Yeah.
The technical side, there's other things, but like I think anything that gets people into stuff, that's great. We
Yeah.
should tell you. So what do you have? What's going on with MCP? What do you have? What do you have to tell us today, my friend?
Yeah, 100%. So just for some context, I work here at the AI developer relations team, and I work a lot with Seth and the Foundry team and people across Microsoft on AI initiatives. And so one of the things we're working on across the stack here at Microsoft is figuring out this MCP thing. And there's a lot of hype on LinkedIn. There's a lot of hype on X, but we really kind of want to just ground the conversation a little bit and teach people about this stuff and how do you learn, how do you get into it. And so I'm not going to talk about how MCP is the USB-C of AI or anything like that. I'm sure you guys have heard that analogy enough already, but the way I think about it is it's one of the ways that you can standardize how AI agents connect to different data sources and bring context into your agents, apps, or models. And so agents can use tools like Open API spec tools and MCP tools, etc. But there's platforms like VS Code, ChatGPT, Claude, etc. that have all adopted MCP as kind of like a tool. And so we want to teach people how to make these things securely and adopt the concept securely. And so one of the things I want to talk about today on how you can learn about MCP is MCP Dev Day. So if you kind of look on my screen here,
Yeah, I got it.
It's an event focused on both Microsoft's investments into the MCP ecosystem and community investments into the ecosystem. So we're going to have partners like Anthropic, NeonDB, Okta, all coming on board to talk about the building of the spec, securing the spec, some of the new OAuth 2.0 things they implemented in the specification, and then how you integrate that into your developer workflow. And so we're splitting this day up into kind of two events, two days essentially. And so day one is going to be focused all around your developer productivity. How do you use MCP servers within your workflow? And we're going to teach you about the full spec within VS Code. We're going to show you how to use things like the GitHub MCP. And then we're going to have special guests from Arcade, Block, and Okta showing us some of the things that they're doing. And even a really cool session with one of our friends, RV Gua, who's kind of like a legend in the space. He's going to talk a little bit about a new thing coming up in the space called NL Web. There's, I think, friends Jennifer Marsman on the team that you know very well, Seth.
Yes.
And folks, they're going to be talking about NL Web and how it relates to MCP and this whole ecosystem. So I think day one's going to be really cool for those of you who are into productivity and how do you leverage the most out of these coding agents. And so that's all about day one. Day two is really for the builders. So for those of you who want to get into the MCP ecosystem and build MCP servers, you can download a random MCP server or integrate a random MCP server into your VS Code client or whatever. But that's, if you've seen kind of the articles popping up lately, that's not the safest way to do things. And so we really want to teach you a safe and secure way to build these things if you're going to go down the route of MCP. And so this is going to start you with the basics. How do you build with something like the C# SDK? How do you create a remote server and host it? How do you lock it down behind API management and API Center to create your own enterprise grade registry? And so we're really going to take you step by step, and we're going to end the day off with doing some cool Foundry agent stuff and integration. Because although MCP is all the rave and the hype right now, the core value that's really going to come is from the agent or the AI app that you're building itself. And so MCP is just a way to bring context into that agent. And like I said, you can do that in multiple different ways. But the core value is going to be the agent you build and problems that you're solving for your business with that agent. And so we're going to end
That's
the
cool.
day off with some Foundry agent service, how you integrate MCP into that, and yeah, it's going to be a cool session. So the main call to action here is just register for MCP Dev Days. Here's the big blue button here, and I believe you popped it on the screen.
Yeah,
So
there's a link right there, ak.ms MCP Dev Days. Janice number 7 had a question about does it cover injection attacks? Yeah, I think you just talked about how you're going to talk about security and OAuth and all the good stuff.
yeah,
API Management Center has a way, and I saw this like for like 5 seconds of converting standard APIs into MCP servers automagically.
exactly. One button click, and then it converts. So
Okay, so that's that one. So the next thing I wanted to talk to you about is you talked about like MCP servers that are out there. The GitHub one in particular. Can you tell us about that? Because I have a link here that says MCP for beginners. What is this GitHub thing?
yeah, 100%. So I'll go ahead and flip my screen here. But
I'm-
we do have for those of you who don't want to wait until July 29th and 30th, and you just want to dive into MCP now, we do have a full-blown curricula called MCP for Beginners. And it takes you kind of from 0 to 1 on your journey about building the servers. What are the primitives within the servers, like prompts, resources, tool callings, and addressing some of the security concerns that Jani kind of pointed out in the
Yeah.
chat here. Our second lesson is focused all around security. We've had Den Delamarski from DevDiv, who's been working with the MCP steering committee, kind of give his insight on this lesson. And he's also going to be in MCP Dev Days. So if you want to tune in there, he's going to talk all about security, authentication, OAuth, etc. And so yeah, we're taking you 0 to 1 in kind of your MCP journey here. And for those of you who are tuning in other places, we also have it translated across a ton of different spoken languages. So yeah, you can kind of pick your poison here and dive into MCP with this curricula today. So
How did you use AI to translate? Just curiosity.
yeah. No, we have a AI translation tool that we kind of put it through, and then we have folks all across in DevRel that
validating.
it. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool, Mark. So the first is MCP Dev Days, so that's number 1. The second is if you want to try out the stuff that you're going to be doing in the lab early, you can go and try it out here already. I might take a look because it's kind of cool. Maybe I'll go through it on the show or something when I have.
Yeah, and this is all open source. So if you find things that, because the spec is changing every day, right? So if you find things that are a little bit like misaligned with the spec, or something just came out today, you want to shoot a PR, anyone can do it. So if you're watching, you can hop in here, shoot PRs, add recommendation, give us ideas, etc. So fully blown open source.
And then the question is, would you say Python first for all of these new SDKs, or is there other languages for this?
So the most up to date MCP SDK is going to be the TypeScript SDK.
Oh,
And the next one is actually going to be C# and then Python. And so Anthropic is actually the ones maintaining the TypeScript SDK. So as soon as the spec goes out, they kind of implement the changes into that SDK, and then we're kind of like right with them there because we're on the steering committee. And so we do that with the C#, and then we roll it into the other ones. So
yeah, and so looks like it's not Python first. Looks like it's TypeScript, then C# and Python. So this is great. Another Paulo Cesar is saying it's great resources. So this is awesome about this. So thank you for that. So another question is like for people wanting to get into like what it means to be agentic in the first place. Do you have anything for that?
yeah, 100%. So let me go ahead and type it up here. But we have
I have AI-agents-beginners.
yes,
Okay.
agents for beginners, GitHub. So like I said earlier, MCP is just one part of the equation. It's really kind of like a plug-in standard. The core value is going to come from your agents. And so if you want to go 0 to 1 with agents, we do have this full-blown curriculum. A lot of people have kind of dove in and gave us feedback already, but it covers how do you get started with agents. We'll cover agent service, some of our other frameworks like semantic kernel, and a lot of cool stuff around what we're doing here at Microsoft with agents, and same thing translated across a ton of different languages as well.
Amazing. Well, Mark, any other resources? So I want to make sure to call out. We have the MCP Dev Days. Here, I'll remove your screen here. We have the MCP Dev Days. Make sure you go to that. If, like, the people you have going there sound awesome. The second was this MCP for beginners on GitHub. So make sure you go to that if you can't wait till the end of the month to have people. I don't know. I'm more of like I love watching people do this stuff and then like looking into this, because I like to I always go to YouTube and watch something for like in double speed to get the gist of it. So I love you can do, if you are the other way around, you can totally do this. And then there's the agents for beginners. This is some good stuff. We should have you come on like every show at the end, be like, all right, here's the new drops that we want everyone to have.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because this is good stuff. Any other news from developer relations or stuff that y'all are doing to make it easier for folks to use AI?
I think that pretty much covers most of the things that we have coming up within the next couple weeks. But happy to come on the show more often and give you some of the sweet goodness that we're coming out with. So.
Yeah, and the cool thing about that is, Mark, y'all put out a lot of amazing stuff. We need to make sure that at least our audience knows about it as well. So thank you so much, bud.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right, dude. We'll see you next time. All right, my friends, it's time for me to show you what I was working on over the weekend. I have by the way, if you don't remember, here, let me full screen this thing. If you don't remember, I'm going to be in Japan this week. I have I leave tomorrow. I am doing I'm helping out at a keynote. Let me see if I can bring it up here so I can show it to you. Azure OpenAI Service Day. I'm gonna find this with Bing. Here we go. Let me share my screen so you can see it, and then I'll put some. Let me share my screen here so you can take a look at it as well. Here it is. I'll be at the Azure OpenAI Service Dev Day. .NET had some MCP Dev Days too. Interesting. Arigato. Thank you. Yes. Hello, my friend. So I'm gonna be for sure on Friday. If you want to come to that. One Nation Under Groove. How cool is that? Amazing. I don't know what this says. Yeah, looks like I am in the morning, 9:50 to 10:35. A practical guide to agentic AI. Yeah, look at this. This is what I'm doing. Practical guide to building smarter systems for developers as AI-powered agents become essential to modern business. Yes, I'm not gonna lie. AI helped me write this. I gave it some pointers on when I was. So I'm first, and then we have a couple of other people. I know Sarah Bird. Here we go. Sarah Bird is going to be there talking about trustworthy agents. She's so good. Seriously. So smart. She's way smarter than me. Not going to lie. So that's what's going on. That is all of Friday. Looks like there's 2 breakout paths. Oh, 3. Oh my gosh. 4. Whoa. AOAI Connect night. I'll make sure to go to that. That goes until 8 o'clock. Delightful. I don't know what this means. Let me see if I can't translate it. Because yes, translate to English. Here we go. Let's see what the party's out like. That's the most important part. OpenAI X Post Meritorious Service Award, AOAI Ultra Quiz, LT Tournament, LT Screaming AI in the center. I want to do this. This is what I want to do. And then we have, oh wow, I know some of these people. I know Tsuyoshi. He's awesome. So yeah, that's where I'm going to be this Friday. I'm super excited to be there. I love Japan. Such cool people, and just the country's beautiful. I just love going there. So that's where I'm going to be this Friday. FYI, and then we're out for another thing. For the next couple of weeks, on the side of the eye here. We are on hiatus for a couple of weeks as I have a long promised vacation that I need to get to. So August 18th is our next live show. I'm thinking maybe I'm thinking we're me and Rhiannon, she's one of our main producers. We're thinking like we're going to organize this so that folks will be able to get you more information earlier. You can sign up for stuff, maybe come on the show, kind of thing. So just FYI, I'm a hiatus for about 4 weeks, but still answering questions. So feel free to try. So this is Azure OpenAI Dev Day. So that's the next thing. The next thing I want to talk about is I was telling you I was working on over the weekend on Prompty. If you know what Prompty is, I just made up the website, and I actually have to change it because I just changed the website, and some of the stuff it's now out of date. So this was the old website. I converted it over to Astro and Starlight because my old thing was just not good. So I'm gonna update this because the latest version, there's a latest version. And let me show you what it does. So here, let me make sure I'm not sharing any secrets here. Open. Let's close everything. Okay. So let me show you what Prompty is. Number one. Number two, I also need to upgrade because Prompty pip. I last night updated the package to support agentic workflows. So let's do this one. Look at this live. We're doing this. Let me show you what Prompty does so that you can get a good sense of why I'm doing this. So we're going to say, too many equals. There you go. Okay, so let's do a pip install. Pip install -r requirements.txt force reinstall. So this should get the latest version that the beta 2 drop that I did yesterday, and then I'll show you. Oh crap! Hopefully it's put in the right place. Yes, it is. So we'll relaunch. By the way, my global Python is probably hosed. I use virtual environments, if you're wondering. Okay, so this is in there. Prompty, I think, can I do this? Yes. Yes. So what Prompty is it's a declarative way of making agents / prompts things. So for example, if you're looking at this thing, this is just a regular chat completion. It's a basic agent. It uses this chat model, right? GPT-4o mini. It's the environment starting, but our environment starting at M. But in the JSON, there's a Prompty JSON that like says, hey, for all Prompty things, these are all the connections we're going to use. And notice it points to environment variables, which is super nice. And so now, in theory, I should be able to hit play. And what this will do is this will run this prompt file. And if you look at it, what it's doing is there's some inputs, and then you can use the inputs to actually create a prompt. So for example, here it says you are an AI assistant who helps people find information, blah, blah, blah. You are helping first name, last name, and that's where this is coming. Those values are coming from here. So the default, the sample value is April, and then Kwong is the last name. And so you should decide if it's a support or sales question. Please respond to support or sales. here's the question, here's the user, and notice that I'm actually updating the user message too, because this is like a single shot chat thing. And so when I run it, you notice it says sales. And I can just run it directly from here, right? And let me delete this because I want to do it again so you can see it. So when I run this, notice it says sales. And the cool thing about this is that it's all here, declarative. It's using the environment variables the way you want to. And the other thing is when you run it this way, you get this cool little Tracy thing where if I click it, hopefully it works. There you go. And it's really fast because I just updated this, by the way. If you've used this before, I've updated it. Notice that it actually shows you how it ran the whole thing. And by the way, I just added some, like the viewer is now super fast because I upgraded all the stuff. I added some of the things that were bothering me. And I got to watch the time, so I'm going to run it out. And so effectively, when this completion thing ran, it ran it in its in like a CLI that's exported with the pip with the Python package, and this CLI when it's run in this as a CLI thing, it actually emits a run, and this run is this thing right here. If you want to know what it looks like underneath, let me just say open with. It's really just a giant JSON file. And it's not a specific format. It's just, I do it for tooling, right? It's just for me. And it has everything in there, including like not leaking keys, right? Which is super important. And you can see that it basically has the full run. And what I've done is I've visualized this run inside of the Prompty extension. And this extension you can see is, you can just here, just make sure you install the pre-release version. And when you install it, just like there's a little drop down that says, like, do the pre-release version. And the pre-release version will make it so that this is now in there. And the cool thing about this is I have to add a couple of things, like make a new Prompty file. But the way you make these things is actually quite simple. Let me make a new one. So let me delete this. And let me go file, new file, my thing, dot Prompty. And as soon as I do that, you can like, Prompty is basically just Markdown. The only difference is there's like special keywords in here. There you go. And then the user is going to have a question. But to make all this work, you need to have the front matter. And so control space. Oh, looks like there was a, hold on. Sorry, my earpiece fell out. I have a bug here. I need to figure that out. Let's figure it out. Sending notification, text document did save. The response, request unhandled method completion resolve. I don't know what it's talking about. We'll fix that. But like, for example, it did it again. I'll have to fix that. So if you hit this like this, it will create like the basic things that you need. And here, for example, I don't need the ID, but the API is going to be chat, and my connection is going to be Azure OpenAI, and my Azure deployment is going to be GPT-4o Mini. My inputs are going to be, we'll do question. There you go. And notice that I literally just built this thing. By the way, I'm doing this for the first time. I haven't tested this all the way. Terminal. So now when I run this, in theory, it should work. Let's see if it blows up. I think it has enough to run. There you go. Notice that I just literally, I just made a thing. And this is just using the model naked, which is not good. You should always ground this stuff. Hold on, there's people talking to me. I need to make sure. Oh, here's a Paolo. Yeah. Fundamentals to understand the principles of foundational reasoning model. Yeah. I'm doing that. That's what I'm doing on Friday. Paolo, I need to figure out what this bug is, because that's annoying to me. Okay, but notice that I basically ran this thing, my thing, and then if I go over here and then refresh, you can see that there's a my thing, and you can see exactly what happened. What happened was that the prompt file was loaded, and when it was loaded, notice that this was everything that it loads. So if you look at this a little bit bigger, you can actually see this is everything that it loads or does to make this work, right? Which is cool. Right? You can see like it made its own ID. Here's the version. There's some metadata. Here's the connection information it uses. These are the inputs. Looks like there's you see there's a question. Here's the template. By the way, it's using Jinja 2 to do the slot filling. Jinja 2. I was on load. Use Jinja 2. It's all in there. And then there's the content, which is really cool. And the first thing when it executes is it prepares this thing. Oh wow, why is this like this? Oh, I know what I did. I made a mistake. I need to fix that. Yes, I need to fix that. Looks like it's emitting too much stuff. And I know why it's doing that. I'll need to fix that. Cool. Okay, so I'll fix that. But notice that it runs the prepare, and what the prepare does is it takes this text and generates the role and user content. Once it runs that, then to run the execution, this is actually called run. I'll need to fix that. I know why that's wrong. So the prepare and then the execute part runs the Azure OpenAI executor, and this executor instantiates the OpenAI SDK. Then create actually runs the thing, and notice that it actually gets on the output, it gets the chat completion stuff, and then the processor cleans it up, and that's what goes on. So here's another question. It's probably looking to resolve also the prompt manager. Yeah, yes. So the idea is that this thing, I need to write this down because I'm seeing some errors here. Notepad. I need to fix trace emit for run to verbose. Just found that. So I'm glad we found that because I need to fix that. Yes. So the idea, anonymous LinkedIn user of wonderful origin, is to, like, this thing then becomes something you can version control. In fact, you can see it right here. Like, it's version controlled by Git. Right? That's the thing about it. And eventually, like, I'm going to make it so that you can deploy these agents to Foundry. And then I'll have a generic deploy that anyone for any particular place can deploy these to whatever they want. Right? So the idea is that that's how this thing runs. So that's one example. Another example is, so let me delete this. By the way, and like I said, I showed you how to build it from scratch. And there's a lot of help. I built a language server for it. There was an original one built by one of our engineers here. I've updated it since so that there's a more robust type spec. But for example, if you wanted to do like a structured output, take a look at this. So this is a structured output. Alice and Bob are going to a science fair, and what we want to do is here. No, that's not what I want to do. Cool. What I want to do is this is a prompt that says extract the event information. Also, feel free to invent any of the other details. Like for example, this thing is an array. It says thing. I have a better one. Let me go to the prompty.github. This is a GitHub. And then I have some issues to work on. Here's the runtime, and this is the one of the tests I did for responses. Let's do structured complex. So I'll take this, and I'll put it in here. All right. So notice that this structured output now has outputs, and if the model is sufficiently powerful, it will generate the result. Holy cow, we are almost done. Got to put the walk-off music. We'll go over. It's okay. We'll go over because I want to show you this. So the idea is that this one is a structured output prompt that has a couple of properties, right? So for example, the output properties, and these can be dictionary-based or array-based. So you can be like, I want you to output the name of the event, the date, the location, and any activities you can do. With Alice and Bob are going to a science fair. So if I were to run this, right, you're going to see it actually, man, I have a little thing that hooks up my earpiece. Sometimes it could pull that. You're going to see that it's actually outputting stuff. And it's I told it to take liberties and invent stuff. So for example, what's the event name? It's the Science Fair Extravaganza on Friday. I should have been more specific, right? Because I could have. The location's in Techville, in the state of Innovation, the country of Futuristan. Look at this. I love it. Good job. Here's some activities. And notice that like there's a location is an object. You can see the location's an object, and here's the properties. You can see the activities, a list of activities that could take place at the event, and this is an array of that has this output type. And you can see it does a very good job of this, which is not. You know what I should do? I should CLI output ready print for. By the way, this is what I'm showing in Japan, because this basically is an explanation of like how agents run, and I'm over by a lot. So let me show you. Let's hope this works. This one now uses this thing. There's an agentic API now that I'm using that Prompty supports. And there is this notion of a thread. A thread is a conversation history and any internal musings. And so, for example, if I were to run this thing, I'll delete that. Notice that I'm saying I'm going to load agent.prompty. Agent.prompty has a tool definition of type of function. What? And what I do is when I load it, I can set the tool value to this function, which is that function. Right? This is how you execute these things. Let me run this, because now I'm just running Python. The weather in Tokyo is 32 degrees Celsius, and it's always 32. But look at this. Execute agent sitch. I need to fix this run thing. But notice that there is this new agent loop where it gets to create in the output. You're going to see the output has, and this is, it just dumps the object. You can see that it says you need to call this function. right? ID tool call function arguments. It says to call the current weather. And so the function loop itself is like, I'll call it. And then it returns the value. And then it puts that back on the thread. And then the output comes. Yep. How cool is that? I'll make some fixes today and I'll update documentation. It's been a pleasure and a privilege to be with you all. Let me get out of my screen here. Thanks so much for being with us. That was what I was working on over the weekend. We'll make it a little, yeah. Thank you so much. We enjoy spending time with you. We will be on a break for about 4 weeks. In the meantime, please make sure to check out the YouTube channel so that we can update you if anything's new. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next time on this, the AI Show Live. Take care, my friends.